Hello, friends, family,
Keita, what are you on right now?
fans. I'm on fentanyl,
Fentanyl.
and sorry, I was paying attention to the drugs, but it just
Oh dear, you got a buckle.
you're interrupting my podcast.
Safety is important.
You're right. I'm sorry. Shall we start over?
Start over? Okay.
Yep, go ahead. Okay. Welcome, friends, family, fans. I'm here today to share with you my wisdom teeth extraction procedure. It went well. It went very, very well. I haven't looked in the mirror.
You look great.
Probably for the best. But I feel like good. And my doctor graduated top of his class. So, quality care here in Fort Collins, Colorado.
How would you rate the experience?
Anyway, the experience, I would say would be a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Very good. So quick, I feel as if I was maybe rushed out the door, but
Oh, they said you were their favorite patient
did they really?
of the entire season.
They did not.
They did?
They did not.
They did? They said you were the sweetest person and you were giving compliments to everybody the whole time.
That is,
That's very you.
well,
Best patient.
this is not my best thing. Well, thank you.
It's all about that.
Isn't he great? What's next?
We're
Were you
taking you
listening
home.
to directions?
I was.
I was not.
That's
I was trying very hard to listen to directions. It didn't.
they gave us a piece of paper, so we're all good.
Did that? Is it in the folder?
No, I've
I
got it.
made a folder
You made a folder.
because I'm.
You're so organized. You're so nice. You're so good.
I like to be pretty organized.
Yeah.
Do I look great?
I think you do.
Thanks. You're so nice. Everyone's so nice.
Ooh.
Can we have a Taco Bell? Just between you and me?
You want to go to the Taco Bell?
Okay, maybe not because I don't think I can eat anything. Oh my gosh. Next important question, when can I eat?
You can eat in an hour, I believe, they said. I'll check on the list. You'll have to wait a little bit.
Oh god.
I don't know if you'll be able to eat fruit snacks for a bit, though.
Why?
So you'd
You're
have to-
right.
yeah.
I know better than that.
I know, it's hard. But you can have mashed potatoes.
We're not ready yet.
But they will be, and they'll be ready so soon.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
What do you have anything? Oh, what did you think about the movie last night?
Movie.
Remember that movie?
Oh yeah, very well done. Excellent cinematography, great plot line. The intense moments were very stressful, and I feel like that means that you're engaged into what you're watching. You are there, and it really unravels you in the whirlwind and tornado of emotions. But excellent film. I would rate it a B+ or an A-. But I cried so much.
It was a sad movie at the end.
the girl looks like my sister.
She did look like Corey. But she made it out okay.
Without her dad.
But he learned to love at the end. Hey, you know what we should do?
What should we do?
We should go find some squirrels.
Just shoot them?
Do you want to shoot a squirrel?
Maybe.
Cool. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 2, technically 3, of the You're Not Wrong podcast. Episode 2 had a lot of technical difficulties and we couldn't release it. Lost audio on the video, our other audio file crapped out.
I was pregnant. It was a whole mess of things.
Yeah, there was fighting, there was fires. It was a great time. What we doing, Parker?
Well, this weekend, it's been a lot of nerd fun. Jordan and I picked up the new Pokemon game, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon.
Good time, classic time.
Great stuff. Eamon, though, doesn't play Nintendo games, so that's not a group project. So instead, Eamon was like, bros, what are we doing Saturday? Y'all's playing Pokemon? I got an even better suggestion. We're going to see Justice League.
And I said it just like that.
Just like that.
We saw Justice League.
We saw Justice League. Quick grade across the board before we start.
Quick grade across the board. Are we doing like an ABC or doing
ABC?
Like ABC.
First thought.
First thought, A-.
Eamon.
B-.
B- as well for me.
I want to say B+, but at the same time, after sitting on it for a few days, like for me, like a B grade is like one of those where it's like, I watched it was a good time, and like a low A, high B to me is like I'd see it again. And honestly, I'm just thinking it's like, I think I'd see it again in theaters.
I rate movies differently.
What did you give Thor Ragnarok?
So we didn't talk about Thor Ragnarok. It was in our last podcast. We gave it all grades. Want to just do that again?
Let's do that just real quickly.
Thor Ragnarok. Okay, we'll go.
A.
B+.
B+.
Okay, I rate movies differently than you, because I only give movies an A. I might not even want to see an A movie again, but it's good. Like movies like like Schindler's List. Schindler's List is an A movie. I don't want to see it. I want to see it once a decade, because it's like, that's enough for me.
Fair enough.
A B movie can be B quality that I would watch 1,000 times. There are C movies that I would watch every day of the week.
Oh,
Wait, so did you think
there are
Justice
Bs
League
and
was
Cs.
better than Ragnarok then?
Maybe I just have DC glasses. The thing is, like, Ragnarok was a good time, fun time, but I was talking with the boys. Let's talk about the boys.
Let's talk about the boys.
I was talking with the boys earlier, and the thing is, like, where it's like, Ragnarok, I had a great time, I loved it. The whole time, subverted expectations. I expected it to just be, like, shitty, and just another Thor movie, if not worse. And it really turned around. But at the same time, I don't remember any, like, real lines or any real set pieces. I just remember, like, the
Tell me your favorite
plot.
3 lines from Justice League.
My favorite 3 lines. My man! Or, I thought you don't like me. I don't not. Or the other one where it's like you can be all alone, you're dressed like a bat. I want to. Well, it's not so much about like lines, but it's kind of like
It's all the Joss Whedon lines.
All the Joss Whedon
the problem is with like Thor, there are entire set pieces where it's like I remember like Thor and Hulk fighting, and then he's talking with Hulk, and they're kind of bantering, and then Bruce bantering, and then like Valkyrie comes in, and they kind of talk. She's broody, but she all immediately like sides up, and then they're on the street after he jumps out the window.
Spoiler alert.
I'm trying to be vague, but the thing is like I don't remember any real things they talked about. I don't really remember any.
It's comedy. I couldn't tell you 5 lines of dialogue from Baywatch, but it was a fun movie.
Yeah, Baywatch is garbage.
Baywatch was
The thing is,
fantastic.
though, Thor, I like Thor. I had a good time with it, but I don't think it's like a great movie in my opinion. Just because
I think that's
At
a
the end
flawed
of the-
way to grade a movie.
at the end of the day, I'm not gonna remember it a month from now. I'm just gonna remember like, yeah, I had a fun time with it. What was the movie about? Thor's running around not doing what he should be doing.
Thor's doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing.
Point is, like, at least, and like Justice League again. I'm biased. I'm way more of a DC fan than a Marvel fan. And to me, DC, like seeing the Avengers for the first time for me was like I'm seeing all of them on screen, standing beside each other, and I feel like it's just the idea of it is just, it's fun to see it come to fruition.
See, I get that. I actually 100% agree with that. But I feel like my B- grade is honestly still colored by that.
Well,
or like
also,
if I wasn't as excited as I was to see like an okay DC movie that wasn't just complete and utter garbage,
Also,
like
I don't like-
Suicide Squad.
I don't like letter grades. I always rate things on like an out of 10 scale.
It's the same thing.
I don't know though, because I would probably give Justice League like a 7 out of 10.
See, I would
Which
give
is
it.
technically like a
I'd
C.
give it an 8 out of 10, but on the grade scale, I'd probably say like A minus or like B plus, which isn't an 8 out of 10.
I think it is a little different because with it, you can give a 1 out of 10 and there's a bit more nuance versus like anything under a 60, which is like a D on an A to F scale, is an F.
Well, I mean, you're using like, it's either just terrible, but it's like anything like 5 to 10 is anywhere from like C to an A.
Well, the thing is, like, also
I
like,
feel like.
Yeah.
C is a 5 to 6.
well, like, things like on a 1 to 10 scale, if you give something below a 5, you can still be like, oh, it was a 3, but you know, like there were X, Y, Z, like it was fun, but ultimately just a crappy movie. This actor's bad, X, Y, Z was bad. But on like an ABC scale, it's like if you give anything like below a D, it's like this is terrible, and if you give anything like a D to D minus or an F, you're basically saying it's a 0 out of 10.
I feel like it's implied if I say something as a C minus, like I would give Baywatch a C minus.
But I still loved it.
Yeah, C minus is like, oh, horribly missed a lot of concepts. Still watchable.
Yeah,
it's like,
the paper was bad, but
I would
like
get
it
drunk
was-
and watch Baywatch.
when I hear C minus, I think of a 6 out of 10, which a C minus should not be a 6 out of 10, because that's implying it's better than average, but a C minus shouldn't be.
I mean, nowadays B is an average grade. It's your average letter grade.
I'd say for me, if we're going off of letter grades, a B is the time where it's like, I enjoyed the movie and I'll remember it fondly. A B plus to A minus is like where it's like, it's a good time, I remember it fondly, I'd see it again. And like an A to A plus is like, I will give glowing remarks.
You're gonna give glowing remarks to Justice League.
I said A minus, yeah, like I'd see it again. But again, I don't use ABC scale. In my personal views. But like Justice League, like again, it had flaws. It had the Marvel movie villain flaw. There definitely were some parts that you can tell like they didn't spend enough time on
It had the
side
Joss
war.
Whedon.
They didn't spend enough time. They had the Joss
Flaw.
Whedon effect. But at the end of the day, it's like
Which wasn't bad. It's fun the first time around.
It was, you know what? If you told me, like, when did Age of Ultron come out?
2015.
that was 2015,
13?
15.
15.
And it was bad.
Yeah, if you told me then that I would just see Joss Whedon go, I would be like, what are you talking about? Like, I liked Avengers 1. Did you do anything else besides Avengers 1 and Avengers 2?
In the Marvel stuff? No.
Just one, two.
But I enjoyed 1 well
One
enough,
was
and
fun.
I mean, you know, I liked the.
Two, the more I think on 2, the more I just dislike it.
It's
The
my
entire
second.
like third act when they're like in the country city thing, I can't tell you what happened because it's just a bunch of people just fighting CGI robots.
It's
and
definitely
just
it's
flipping
my
around.
it's either my second or third least favorite Marvel movie. Definitely, my bottom ones are definitely Age of Ultron, Guardians 2, and Thor 2.
I feel like everybody liked Guardians 2 a lot more when we came out.
I like Guardians.
I will say, I don't know, maybe it's because I didn't see it with like a big audience and like kind of feed off of that sort of hype that like everybody has when they see a movie together.
I kind of saw it on the off night, like middle of the day. So when I saw it, no, you didn't.
Where is he?
I was supposed to go with you, but I was because my girlfriend at the time got hella drunk that night, and I had to take care of her.
Oh, it's me.
Either way, I don't know. Maybe I don't know what it was about it. I just did not like Guardians 2. It just felt pointless, and it didn't feel like a Guardians movie. It was like a Peter Quill movie that happened to have the other Guardians in it. And a lot of the jokes just didn't land for me. Especially, it might be because I saw it like a week after Ragnarok. And Ragnarok, I thought if nothing else, the Canada comedy was just kept hitting those points.
See, the thing with me and Ragnarok is the fact like the comedy was great, but at the end of the day, it's like I feel like Chris Hemsworth especially. I'm just like I don't see Chris Hemsworth as funny. I see that line as very funny.
I don't know.
It could have been said by anyone else and been just as funny. I don't see.
Ooh, I don't know.
I don't know, because I never
think
saw,
it's-
for instance, like the new Ghostbusters movie, but I saw some of the stuff that he was in there, and everyone was like, in that movie, Chris Hemsworth was the funniest part, like hands
See,
down.
I saw that, and while that movie was bad, I feel like every time he was in the movie, he was like, why are you here? Your character's doing nothing. You as an actor are doing nothing.
Was he
You're
funny?
literally chewing time.
Was he funny though?
No, he wasn't.
See, I saw some clips in there. It looked, from what I saw, he was pretty funny.
All of his funny wears off after his first time being funny. Because you're like, oh, he's a pretty guy, but he's like really dumb and vaguely sexist. You're like, oh, that's kind of funny. And then he says it his second line. You're like, this is him for the entire movie. Fuck.
I don't know. I like.
There's one or two decent lines in the middle where he kind of gets possessed by a ghost, where it's like, okay, we're looping back because it's kind of like making fun of him just being a dumb muscle. But even that gets old fast.
Was it him getting older, or was it the script getting old? Like, what did he do with the material?
It's kind of both, because the script was weak, but I don't really see it as like he brought anything to it.
I would disagree. I thought Ragnarok. I thought he was very good.
Ragnarok was funny, but at the same time, it's kind of like, is it funny because of Chris Hemsworth, or is it funny because Thor's been a stoic character
Well, I mean,
now?
they
And now he's
said though
cracking
that
jokes.
like 80% of that movie was improv. So,
But by Chris Hemsworth.
well, apparently that's why they changed Thor. Was Taika Waititi was talking? He said nobody was letting Chris Hemsworth be funny, and he's super funny. So I was like, let's just
Didn't he
let
do
him
some like weird ads for one of the other movies where he was like lifting weights or whatever, and he was like,
Yeah,
oh,
well,
I
no,
did that.
he did
For
the
Civil War, where he
Ragnarok.
was like, oh,
Oh,
everyone's fighting in Civil War, and I'm just having a good time, hanging out with the hammer.
Yeah, and he was super funny in that too. Apparently, that was against a lot of improv. So I think he's a really funny guy because I thought that as soon as they let him be funny, it was instantly way better than all the other Thor movies.
Okay, I was
But
thinking
we're talking
funny.
about Justice League though.
Here's
Nobody cares about
what
Ragnarok.
I propose. A
That's how we go.
closing thought on Thor. And I want the 5 viewers at home to also comment, talk about this, whatever. Do you think Chris Hemsworth could carry a comedy by himself?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm down.
Yes.
Midnight Parade sitting to the Chris Hemsworth sitcom.
All right. JLA. Back to Justice League.
Yes. Back to Justice League. Make sure this is still actually filming this time.
It's a league where we can dispense justice.
Yeah, we can tell him you just got served.
You just got served.
So Justice League.
I think the only reason Justice League was I enjoyed it is because
and you're one of the three of us that likes it the least.
I liked it the least. I also don't care. I didn't do any comic books growing up. There was no Marvel. There was no DC. I didn't watch like Justice League as a kid growing up.
Great.
No, I watched like bits of it like college. I have no backstory for any of these, and I care nothing about their plot material or about like the source material.
So that being said,
I feel like the Justice League should be better than the Avengers because I like the characters in I think the Justice League more than I do the Avengers because they're all just dumb, snarky people. I don't give a crap about Black Widow. I don't give a crap about.
I think a lot of that unfortunately is Joss Whedon.
Is Joss Whedon. Even in their separate movies though, like I don't really care a lot about like Captain America struggles. I think they're dumb.
I like Captain America.
You care about
Chris
him
Evans
and
is
Bucky. If Chris Evans, if Captain America was like running around doing stuff by herself, you're like, it'll be fine.
Which yeah, and
They'll
like
be fine.
in the Justice League movie, each one of those characters. Granted, I don't know anything about Aquaman. From what I've seen, he's
No,
just
but this is
point
good.
blank.
What do you see as the DCU?
I feel like those movies are supposed to be better because each one of those individual characters are loads better than the Marvel ones. Batman, way better character. Wonder Woman, fantastic. And Gal Gadot was fantastic. I would watch 1,000 movies.
I wouldn't disagree with that actually.
Like they should be better. This movie should be better.
I agree
It was
with
good.
that. I feel like all the actors were fantastic. The characters themselves in the movies, they were all really good. It's such a weird movie, Justice League, because there's so many. You're totally right. There's so many individual good scenes, like the Flash stuff, really good for the most
That
part.
Flash scene's super fun. That
Every
Batman scene's
time
super
Flash was
fun.
on screen, every time Henry Cavill had flashbacks.
In fact, I can't really think about why it's not an A movie for me.
It's because
But
the movie as a whole doesn't like
Because it's a bunch of scenes.
It's fun scenes.
It's two things. It's you take two directors that are both individually. Zack Snyder is really good at scenes, not great at characters. Characters, as far as Zack Snyder, as far as I'm concerned, are just props for him to move around and do cool stuff.
I agree with that.
Joss Whedon, characters are all just vehicles for snarky comments. And so you take those two things and it just sort of switches between those two, and somewhere in there, there's some gold.
You know what I'm wondering?
But you gotta dig.
I gotta wonder about the talking about the humor and like, because of course, like, you know, like Joss Whedon went in and like did reshoots and they wanted to keep the film under 2 hours, but at the same time, it's like there was quite a bit of humor, and it's like I can't imagine all of those jokes were Joss Whedon. And I'm not saying like Zack Schneider was like, you know, like putting in a lot of humor, but at the same time, it's very much just like I can't imagine because there were a lot of moments that like made me smile and made me chuckle, and I can't say all those were Joss Whedon.
I mean, they said that I think 30 to 40% of the movie was Joss Whedon.
Because like if you look back on at least all of Zack Snyder's general film work, comedy.
They're not funny.
And in Batman v Superman and Man of Steel, there's not a single smile or joke in either.
The only one that I can think of which did not land was, "Is she with you?" No, I thought she was with you.
Yeah, that was such a dumb line.
Did not crack a smile.
But at the same time,
she's obviously with Batman. They talked to her.
Watching Justice League without getting into spoilers, there were a few moments where it's like, that's a Joss Whedon joke, and I can tell from a mile away.
There'll be like endless fist bumps. Like right at the end of the movie, we're like. The slow fist bump.
No spoilers.
That wasn't bad. There's one particular line that Batman says that is so obviously Joss Whedon that it's just hot garbage. And there's also a scene.
Keep spoiler free for
someone's definitely bleeding.
Oh,
so bad.
Like that was bad. But there were like some like humor moments where I'm just like, that doesn't read as a Joss Whedon joke.
Like, okay, this isn't on topic of this. I just feel like they rush too quickly because they're like behind in like the MCU for like general business purposes.
Yeah.
Like they run ahead to the Avengers.
And rumor is they're just going to be more behind after all this.
I feel like Justice League 2 will be loads better because then I'll get to spend a spin-off film with each one of them and I'll be like, I knew this was a good character.
If Justice League 2 ever happens.
If it does.
You know what's the weird thing? You know what's the weird thing? When I think of two movies very much in this topic come to mind, and that's Age of Ultron and Batman v Superman. And both of those movies, it's just like, should have been...
I mean, it's definitely better than both of those.
Oh, it was definitely better than both of those. When I think of those movies, I'm like, both of those movies should have been 20 minutes shorter, and it would have been a lot better. But this movie is one where it's like, I could have used 20 more minutes, and I feel like it still would have been good.
And from what I understand, they are still working on CGI for the movie, which means I think you'll get an Ultimate Edition. I would
have... See, this is one of those movies where I want to watch the extended edition.
Exactly. Like, if you told me... Well, I did watch the Batman v Superman extended edition, and I maybe gained something from it, but I don't know what. I mean, it was better than...
It's better, but at what cost?
At the cost of yet another, 3 hours of my life that I'll never get back. If you told me Age of Ultron had an extended edition, I wouldn't watch it. I just don't care. The more I think about Age of Ultron, despite barely remembering it, the more I hate that movie.
See, Age of Ultron left a bad taste in my mouth, and again, the more I think about it, the more I talk about it, the more I'm just like, God, I don't like that movie.
Yeah. I mean, here's the difference for me. Is that Age of Ultron, I stopped seeing Marvel movies in theaters for a while after Age of Ultron, because I just didn't care anymore.
I know a lot of people that did that with Ant-Man.
Justice League, I'm excited to see.
I'll watch the next DC movie.
Yeah, Aquaman, James Wan, I think.
I'd wholly be down for a fun Aquaman romp.
Yeah, I think that'll be good. The Flash, it's kind of, who knows what's happening with that. They've lost 3 directors.
If they
wish the Batman would happen, but from what I understand, there's a lot of rumors that Ben Affleck's not coming back.
See, and that's weird because I feel like in Batman v Superman, Ben Affleck was the best part of it.
He was, and he was one of the best parts of.
And in Justice League, it's very much I was talking with some friends about this, about comparing other past Batman actors, of course Christian Bale, but this movie's I very much saw the difference between Bruce Wayne and Batman, and him kind of coming into the role, and to hear him say oh, he might be done. To me, it's kind of oh, you're just dipping into it. You're finally getting good.
I know. And it's
Ben Affleck, if you're watching this, I know you are. Do one more Batman. I think you'll like it.
Just do tons more Batmans. You're the best part. You're the best part.
You're the best part of the DCU.
Well, now I might have to say Wonder Woman might be the best part.
She's
really the best part.
But that scene at the beginning in the bank was run along.
Oh, that was great. That was
cool
so good.
Hey, where?
Right in the bank.
With the guys with the machine gun.
Oh.
That was great.
It's so cool.
I was so dumb. I died.
Awesome.
See, but that's that scene to me quantifies the moment where it's that fine line between it's a cheesy comic movie, but it's also pretty fun and badass. It's that perfect line. I feel like.
Question: this won't make any sense to anyone who hasn't seen the movie. Is that a Joss Whedon film scene or a Zack Snyder scene?
That was a Snyder scene.
I'd say that's a Snyder scene. If nothing else, he does. Sometimes he does a little too much in slow-mo, but he plays with speed very well. Like, it reminded me a lot of one of my favorite, like, clips in Man of Steel is the woman, the Kryptonian, when she just takes out all the soldiers.
Oh yeah, she's just
and
flash
it like goes from like normal speed to her just speeding. And that, I was like, that's the closest I'm ever gonna get to a Dragon Ball Z scene where she just wrecks everyone in like 5 seconds.
See, you can tell it's like a Zack Snyder because like it goes from like a very slow shot of her blocking to very fast. But it's like the speed is like the slow shots to show like that's how she perceives it, and then you see it in fast, and you're just like, did that just happen?
Yeah.
Damn.
I've always said that Zack Snyder would be a much better cinematographer than he is a director. I don't think he gets characters. I mean, on the other hand, though, like
Did you read his reviews about Sucker Punch? Some of the funniest things.
I assume it's dumb.
Zach, you didn't get any of the critiques before thrown in the movie.
Well, you know what I realized watching Justice League is like a lot of scenes, especially team-up scenes, where I was kind of thinking that, and I was like, if you took a still of this right now, it could make a good poster.
Yeah, and that's Zack Snyder. If you take any individual shot for the most part, there's always cool shots that he does, but the expense of characterization. Mm-hmm. And Joss Whedon was not the guy to bring in to add some characterization, because he also doesn't give a crap about characterization.
In Avengers 2, there's no shots. In Avengers 1, there's one shot. It's where the sweeping circle shot where they're all getting ready for the fight. That's the only iconic shot of the movie.
Avengers 2 has their shot. It's the very first scene of the movie where they all jump into the snow at the same time.
They waste their shot on minute 2 of the movie. And then it's done.
Man.
I'm sorry, Wes. I know you love hockey. I just think he's garbage. I don't care what he does in the comics.
Your food is done. Oh, I'm just going off. Eamon's food is done. We've been doing this for about probably like 19, 20 minutes. We'll probably go for another 5 minutes podcast. But I feel like Justice League, I feel like overall for me is a success. I feel like a lot of people are going to be very like jaded, they've been kind of like hurt, or they didn't really give a try for the other DC films. So that's whatever. But at the end of the day, this movie did what it needed to do, and it's like where it's, I watched this and I'm like, yeah, I'll see the next DC movie. And you said yourself, like, I would happily see the next DC movie.
Yeah, and that's a very big change from Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman.
And meanwhile, like, Thor was good, but like, to me it's like, and granted, the next one is Black Panther, so it's a little, like, biased, which it does look fun. But, like, Thor itself is like, yeah, that was good, but that doesn't make me want to see the next one, because, at least for Marvel movies, the next one could be so tonally different, it's not even on the same spectrum.
Oh, I'm jazzed for the next one.
But the next one is Black Panther, which looks great.
Oh, I'm jazzed for the next Thor movie.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm jazzed for whatever Taika Waititi does next, which is hopefully Thor Ragnarok 2.
Maybe I hated Avengers less because the first time I saw it was in German. I only got the only parts
Avengers
of the movie.
Age of Ultron, he saw in German.
Yeah.
Caveat that.
It's the only parts of the movie that I understood for the most part, because all that is just comic book.
So you did
were the Joss Whedon scenes, and I was like, I think a joke was made. I think my German was decent enough to understand that line, and then saw it back. What?
But you didn't understand enough to realize that you hated all those.
I had no idea what the overall plotline of the movie was, and then like came back months later, and then watched it at home, and was like, oh. And most of it was me just like wanting to watch it because I wanted to know what everybody was talking about the whole time. So I didn't watch it all at once, going like. That movie is like, what happened?
It blows me away that it's got probably, twice the score that Justice League does on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's got like a 70 or something. Yeah, you should look that up. I don't know if I'm making that up.
The fact that Age of Ultron has any passable score anywhere to me nowadays is baffling because...
Then again, Guardians 2 had a great score. I hated that movie. Honestly, I think Thor 2 probably had a better score than Justice League, which is
it is a 7.6 on IMDb. It has a 37% of Rotten Tomatoes. That's Justice League.
Justice League, okay.
Justice League, 37.
What's the user score, though?
Yeah,
I think the user score is going to be in the 70s or 80s.
Yeah,
I don't really deserve that low. Yeah, the audience score is 85.
Yeah. What was Age of Ultron?
Let's see, critic consensus. Justice League leaps over a number of DC movies, but its single bound isn't enough to shed the murky aesthetic.
And yet it's got the same score that that's how I know that score is complete crap. That's 2% higher than Batman v Superman. That is such
and that movie was ages better than Batman v Supes.
Yeah, I think at least I thought it was 37%. Might have been 27% actually. that Batman v Superman was.
Well, that being said, the score that Rotten Tomatoes gives a movie is not the quality of the movie. It's whether or not you should see it or not.
Yeah, but it's like 27 or 37, 39, whatever percent of critics say to go see it or gave it positive scores, I guess. I don't know.
See, when I look at Rotten Tomatoes, I always score more to the user score because critics are always going
Now,
to
see,
be
Batman v Superman
biased
is
on
27%.
Oh,
But
yeah.
if like the viewer score, people like me are saying 80%, I'm like, yeah, 80%. Let's go.
I
On
don't
the
know.
other
I think a
hand-
lot of garbage movies that are like,
On
oh, loved it. It was like,
Yeah,
that's
and
terrible.
also on the other hand, it's always hit and miss. I mean, It Comes at Night had a horrible user score, and that was all because of trailer stuff. But that was a great movie. It's just I don't know. I usually look at Rotten Tomatoes relative. Like I don't look at that score as being an absolute score. It's like, do more people like this than liked this movie?
See, and I don't really look at Rotten Tomatoes. I know Parker will live and die by the holy gospel of Rotten Tomatoes, but to
And
me,
the RT we trust.
to me, Rotten Tomatoes is like the first of what should be a lot of baselines. I look at it and I'm just like, okay, that's a very high level overview,
Yeah.
but I will never base any of my judgment off of Rotten Tomatoes because I feel like I usually disagree with Rotten Tomatoes a lot.
See, and that's I think why I like
Some
it,
of my-
because I use it, because I agree with a lot of the scores.
See, some of my favorite movies on Rotten Tomatoes, I feel like get lower grades, and some movies I hate are like the certified fresh. So to me, it's like, I don't trust it because I don't agree with it.
That's the opposite here, because most of the movies that have a decent, because I don't care usually about the audience score, because usually the critic score reflects how I like a movie. And so it's just because I usually agree with the way that they grade movies is why I like it. Which is why I like Chris Stuckman.
Yeah.
I like Jeremy Johns less. I think that his videos content.
I like John more.
The movies that Chris recommends is I've never been let down by a movie that Chris has recommended. So his personal interest in movies reflects mine.
I'd
And so
agree
I
with
use
that.
both of those because I'm already part of the demographic. I feel like
See,
that's fit for it.
Stuckman Johns, as to your relationship channel. Honestly, okay, sidetrack for a second. When I wasn't sure if you guys were going to come back tonight and film the podcast, I was kind of like, should I kind of want to film like just me doing like a movie review. I think that'd be kind of fun. You're not wrong movie reviews. Comment below if you want to do that. Don't forget to like, rate, and subscribe. Something of that. But like, I feel like everything that Stuckman recommends, I love. And he does anime movies, which Johns doesn't, and that's great. So anything he recommends is great. But when it comes to like just movies where I know I'm gonna see or movies where I know I'm not gonna see, I just like Johns because I feel like his score is just a little more like it's open to interpretation. His
I also think you just are more similar to Jeremy Johns than you are.
me and my personality. Then again, it also comes down like who'd you see first? I saw Johns first,
I saw something first.
and there it is. So I feel like we're pretty good on time right now for the podcast. Closing thoughts, movie reviews, and
Go see Thor.
Justice
League was okay.
I say go see Justice League. To get your own opinion on it for those that are just going to take everyone else's, and also go see it
So it makes enough money for more DC movies.
Yeah, so because I feel like it's like if people are liking it, you should go see it just so it's like to show that like more should be done with this. I feel like a lot of people are going to be just like, oh well, I've heard XYZ about being terrible, so I'm not going to see it.
I think because the audience score and the critic score are so wildly off that the Justice League will be fine as a movie and will make enough for them to be like, okay, like we have enough to do it.
Yeah. I think it's got to make something like $700 million to.
Is that international or domestic? Because international, it'll make that.
International.
It's leading in a lot of countries right now. It's doing great.
Doing great in China. Very lovely.
Dude, Philippines. It's apparently like the #1 movie of the year for Philippines right now.
See, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Batman v Supes, 27% critic score, 63% for audiences. Justice League was 37% or 39% for.
Well,
critics.
Suicide Squad. That movie was just garbage.
See,
Which is
that,
weird.
That's a really high audience score for being like, yeah, go see it. So I think that'll be fine. Like word of mouth, we'll put it a lot.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that exactly. That tells me that hopefully there is enough word of mouth to kind of keep it going.
Here's one of my closing thoughts: is like there's been a lot of talk in the recent years about like like reshoots and change of directors and stuff, and like when I think about it, like Rogue One and Suicide Squad come to mind, and like with Rogue One and Suicide Squad, I feel myself and other people, bless you, asking,
Suicide Squad had a 61% audience rating.
26%.
what's
Or
what's
26 critics,
Reviewer.
61 for audiences.
That's better than I thought it would be.
That's about what it was for Bat v Supes.
Yeah.
But here's what I'm getting at, where it's like, you know, reshoots and stuff. And we talked about this a lot in Japan, where it's like, it's like Rogue One and Suicide Squad. People are asking like, I would love to see the movie in this cut, or had the director done this with it. Justice League had 2 directors, but at no point in the movie did I feel like there's a different movie hidden in this. It felt like it overall, like, you could say that about the comedy, but the overall scope of the movie, where like, you look at Rogue One, it's like, I feel like that movie had 7 different cuts, and each of those movies had a way different tone.
That's fair.
Justice League,
I get
yes,
that.
there's more humor in the Joss Whedon stuff, but at the same time, it's like, from start to finish, it accomplished the same thing.
See, but we don't feel what they like. 40% of the movies cut out. If you watch, I would love to see just the Zack Snyder cut. Be like, bad movie.
Well, if you
from
saw
what I
just the
understand,
Joss Whedon
everything-
cut, would it be a better movie?
No.
It'd be better than the Zack Snyder cut, but it would still be a bad movie.
But here's from what I understand, this could all just be rumors. From what I understand, after the very, never mind, I can't talk about it. Spoilers. Do you want to do a very quick spoiler thing at the very end here?
Skip it if you don't want to watch it.
We're about
For
to
the 10 of you
finish
who
the
don't watch it.
podcast anyway. This is going to be the hard cut for Justice League spoilers. So for those want to stay spoiler free, go see the movie. And this has been Did You Know episode 2. Spoiler cast begins now.
From what I understand, everything, now that we're talking about spoilers, after Superman is reborn,
Great scene when he turns into the Flash.
that is a great scene.
Oh.
Everything after that is all Joss Whedon for Superman scenes. Any scene that Superman is in, apparently,
That makes
after
sense.
that,
Because he smiles.
he smiles, and from what the rumors say, originally he was supposed to be evil through the whole movie. He was supposed to, yeah, exactly. My only conclusion is that Zack Snyder hates Superman. He hates
Probably
Superman.
does. And honestly, if they said tomorrow, Man of Steel 2, and it's going to be the same Henry Cavill Superman style as Justice League, I would buy a ticket right
Yeah,
now.
absolutely.
see that same style of, like, happy
was
Superman.
born to be Superman. He's a great Superman, and it just makes me angrier looking back on the previous direction that he's had. He's had no ability to just use that natural
Don't
charisma.
smile. Don't be hopeful. You know all the traits that make Superman super.
Just-
don't do them.
And then
Just
like,
don't
we're gonna
do
kill
it.
you, and then we're gonna bring you back to life, but you're gonna be evil. And it's like, come on.
I gotta say that line though, where it's like, you don't let me live, you don't let me die. I was like,
Oh yeah, he was great bad too. He was super foreboding. He was a better villain than Steppenwolf, honestly. I mean, maybe because he was mostly real. Besides,
because we know what he was doing.
Yeah.
we knew his motivation.
And that was really good. But I'm much happier with Joss Whedon's direction, because if they had kept Superman bad even through the end of the movie, I'd have been like, come on, like Superman is actually a really cool character if you do it right. And I think people don't think he's a cool character because they see
They see him as
Batman v
boring.
Superman, where he's has no charisma, he's just a walking tank essentially.
Or they see him in the show where it's just like, yeah, you have to dwarf him and get him out of
No, they're civilians. That was on the one hand getting rid of him so they could drag him out.
that's a genuine
But
move.
that's
It's
Superman though, where it's his conflicts don't come from can I win or not. It's like, what do I have to do to save people?
It
Also, because it only takes 30 seconds to go there, 30 seconds back. Wonder if I can handle someone for another
It
minute.
doesn't feel like the movie's like, we need to write out Superman. It feels like,
Yeah.
that's what Superman would do.
Exactly.
We just wanted to see
It worked.
Aquaman and Wonder Woman, our metahumans, just
Yeah.
slap around the Wolfie boy for a little bit longer.
Yeah, even though, like I said earlier, I think it was to you, I didn't understand why Wonder Woman back in World War I was able to fight an old god in Ares, and Steppenwolf, even though I think in the comics he's a new god, he wasn't a new god in here, and yet she
This
was
way
having,
he's trying to become the new guy.
and yet she was having trouble fighting him.
I will only say because I don't know anything about the comics, in the fluff of the movie at least, of the lore that we get in the movie, it takes all of the gods, all of the Greek gods, and the Atlanteans, and all the Amazonians,
That's
and all
true.
of the
Yeah,
young
that's
human
true.
clans to
To
be
fight
like
them
fight
all.
I guess
one
I
guy.
don't really know much about the new gods as far as the comic books go, so I don't
They
know.
get real money, real
Yeah.
Not as good as American gods.
Well, nothing's as good as American
DC,
gods.
with the whole crisis and after Final Crisis, gets really muddy, so we're not going to go
Okay,
there.
so I guess I'll
I
just
don't
assume
even know.
that maybe the new gods are more powerful than the old gods, and that Steppenwolf by all rights should be a new god, but whoever decides who becomes a new god was
Random question. We'll probably get this out. Was American Gods good? Was the TV show good?
Oh, so
I never heard anything about
it.
it.
It was so good. I kept up with it weekly.
You finished the book.
American Gods, so good. Read the book first.
We're getting a little long, fellas. So if there's any last things you want to say now.
Go see Thor. Justice League is fine. Don't listen to George.
see Thor first.
I stand by A- B+.
Yeah.
It's a movie I will defend, but I'm not feeling like.
What are your
I
8
could
out
wanna
of 10
go.
or like 1 to 10 scores for Thor and Justice League?
Saying what's my 1 to 10 for Thor and Justice League?
Because you said you like 1 to 10 scale better.
1 to 10.
What?
Justice League is a soft 8. I feel like after a week of thinking on it, it might dip down to a 7. After having spent some time on Thor Ragnarok, I would say 7.5. That's my final score for it. It's 7.5.
Okay.
I'd say low 9 for Thor. No, I'll just say 9 for Thor. It was all around enjoyable. I had a great time the whole time. And I'd say 7 for Justice League. Both above average movies. I think Justice League, and it might just be the lens of having grown up with Batman the Animated Series and Justice League Unlimited. That may have bumped it up for me. I honestly could see myself if I.
But let's be real.
grown up
Weren't we
with
all
it.
kind of doing that with the Avengers too? Not
Yeah.
Avengers like 2.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I rewatched the first Avengers. Honestly, it's nowhere near as good as I remember it being.
You're happy to see your heroes on screen.
Yeah, that was the big thing.
That's why I
Was
like
seeing
Thor.
it in theaters with a crowd and everybody freaking out, seeing Thor fighting Captain America that first time. Awesome. Rewatching it on a laptop, it's
The Majesty's Mask.
I honestly I have a much different opinion about Joss Whedon than I used to. I'll just put it that way.
Parker, you're 1 to 10 on both of them. We're about to close out.
8 for Thor, 6.57 for Justice League. I still say it's C. It's a muddled movie, but it's fine.
Yeah.
All right. That's been the Did You Know podcast, episode 2, Justice League of Our Own. And cut.
You've been served.
Have to be careful because
Sorry.
you're a yellow woman. Have to be careful or else it's gonna fall out.
Your tongue?
Yeah.
It's gonna fall out? I'll pick it up if it does.
Are you gonna wash it?
I will.